and my request is that the PwC report should be made public, because why it should be hidden from any other shareholder?
Okay, fair point. Pratibha, you just want to answer that? The chairman is normally elected by the board?
That is correct. So let's look at what at least publicly has been stated. The resolution that was moved was for removal as chairman and director. Now, removal of director is the prerogative of the shareholders.
Fair enough.
And removal of chairman is something that the board can do unanimously. But if you look at the resolution that was passed, the board first tried to ask Mr. Mallya to resign. Right? That is typical the moral pressure that the board puts, asking and giving the opportunity to the director to resign, so you don't have to go through the legal process. Plus, given that there is a right under the shareholders agreement, which is probably incorporated in the articles, for a shareholder to appoint the chairman and for other shareholder to vote along, it's unlikely that the board will exercise that power and will defer to the shareholders to take this decision to avoid legal issues later.
Okay, so fair point. Mr. Gupta, now what are the various next steps? We should of course expect Dr. Mallya to go to court and try and defend his rights. Probably he was given the right to stay on as chairman in the Diageo agreement. The other part, you would expect that there will be some proactive steps taken by the regulator in terms of the happenings in in USL that you referred to, agreement over White and McKay, the reportage of White and McKay's performance. You think all this will be done by the regulator?
I do not say I think. I wish that it should be done, for the simple reason we have very clearly moved from an era where anything or everything was allowed to happen in the company. Now it is a transparent manner, and if such things have come to the notice of public and regulator, it is right that action is initiated so that confidence of investing public remains intact, or it is not dwindled. My issue is very simple. Two and two adds together. See, till now nobody believed that this is wrong. Now when the PwC report has itself brought down that there were something which were not done rightly, so then it is likely that earlier things also were not done rightly.
Then many more, many more skeletons will tumble. In that case, even the auditors will be held to question, isn't it?
So I think you have to read the last year's auditor's report. Auditors have just fallen short of writing that there is a fraud in the company. If you just read the last line of the BSR Associates audit report, you will find that they have just fallen short of writing that there is fraud.
Okay. Pratibha, just one last question. Sure. So go ahead.
Please, sir.
Yeah, today with lot of responsibilities being fixed on auditors under the Companies Act for reporting of the fraud, it will be very interesting to see what are their observations in this audit report.
Okay. So, Pratibha, just one last question to you before we wind up. You did mention that the removal of directors is a prerogative of the shareholders. So, if you go by the precedents of, earlier cases, how long does it generally take for a board which has a controlling stake to oust a director? What do you think would be the next course of action and the timeline?
So the timeline broadly is at about 45 days, because you've got to first, it depends whether the notice comes from the shareholder or the board itself calls for a meeting for removal of the shareholder. Either case, you have to give notice to the concerned director that he's being removed and give him the opportunity to be heard at the shareholders meeting. And there are strict timelines provided for the notice period. So for example, 14 days for giving notice of the requisition of the meeting, etc. So typically 45 days, but in between, if there is a stay from any court, then of course all of that timeline doesn't matter. Just one thing I will add to what Mr. Gupta was saying. I think it's very important, the legal point that I'm stating is all as per the law today. But this is a listed company, and the public policy angle will take precedence over, any of the contractual obligations, and I do expect SEBI to take a more proactive role in terms of looking at the reports. There's suggestion that the reports have been submitted to the regulator. And the second thing, you're right. I mean, I think we'll have to see the repercussions of this on the other directors. You know, if the auditors thought that there is a fraud but didn't declare it fully, or the directors did not report the wrongdoings when they were required to, because the 2013 Act, the new Companies Act, is very stringent. So the repercussions on directors, auditors, and Diageo itself, which is a US listed company, I think that will get panned out. So it's very interesting that Diageo has brought this out, you know, in light now.
Point taken. Pratibha, Mr. Gupta, unfortunately out of time, but this is the most absorbing conversation. Thank you for pointing out all those red flags that investors and the market have to pay attention here on. The USL stock is down almost 2%.